A very special edition of Xperience Sessions right here on IndigoMusic.com. I'm Rohit, and joining me is a band member from Kapow with an exclamation mark. Hi, Mayank,
Hi.
what's happening?
Nothing, man. It's a regular Tuesday, which means I have to wake up super early, get ready for my practices and everything, take a couple of classes. So just a regular work day.
Right, fantastic. And talk to me about Kapow. What is the band all about, and what kind of music you guys are into?
Sure. So, whenever I always introduce the band, I'm like, the band's name is Kapow.
Yeah.
First of all, it doesn't get across quickly. So people are like, Kapow. They mispronounce it,
Right.
Kapow. I'm like, there's an exclamation mark at the end. So, you really need to put that effort into it. You'll need to be like, Kapow,
Yeah.
And it basically means the comic book punching sound, because all of us are 90s kids, so grew up on watching comics and cartoons, and you're we want to deliver that punch, that surprise to our audience. So that's how the name came to be, and our music, I would say, it's rock music. We adapt a lot. Our first album was all over the place.
Right.
I'm not I accept it. So it was pop, it was rock, R&B, metal, it was all over the place, because all of the band members come from very different musical influences. So we tried to just let us be free and experiment with all of that. So yeah, as of now, I would say we are predominantly a rock band, but I don't promise anything.
Well, Mayank, how was the lockdown for you and the band in general? How was it? And as a musician, as artists, was it productive when it comes to making music?
Yes and no. So the initial few months, we had a tour planned, which was an all India tour, so it all got scrapped.
Yeah.
Which kind of put a dent on all our timelines and all our plans for the next few years. But eventually, we did had started writing new music. Since we had time now, we weren't focusing on tours. So music wise, in terms of making music, it was a lot productive. We got ideas for our second album, even for our third album. So those two are happening really, really soon. Yes and no. The initial 6 months or so, I would say we were all over the place. Again, we didn't know what to do. We were trying to figure out if the situation will improve quickly. How do we plan ahead? But once we kind of got hold of the situation, and we knew what was going to happen, and we were expecting the things will get better only after a couple of years, like in 2022 or 2023, then we started planning accordingly and
Right.
started recording music and making from our whole bank of music. We chose songs which were easy to work on during the pandemic time.
Right. And your track, Always Meant to Be,
Yeah.
it features another artist called Sana Arora as well.
No.
What is this track all about, and how did this collaboration happen?
Okay, so interestingly, back when I was in college, I'm not a musician, not a person who was already involved in music all throughout my life.
Right.
I only started getting involved in music during my college years. I was a nerd, so you can say love being a geek and a nerd. So back in college, I had a lot of other friends who were musicians, writers, and all of those people I came across and learned from them. So during the pandemic, one of my friends from college, his name is Pratyaksh, he writes. So he calls me up, and he's like, I have a story, I have written lyrics, and I want your voice in Kapow to make that song. And I was like, okay, cool, share it with us, and we'll see if it fits our vibe, and if the band members agree. And incidentally, we loved the track, and I loved singing on top of it. I created the melody and everything with him. So that's how it came to be. And then while we were discussing the track, we were discussing all the possibilities. What should we do? How do we want the story to be portrayed? What is the story all about? So the story is basically it's a very real story, in the sense that all the things that are being described in the song happened to two people during the pandemic. Which made them move to two different cities, and how their relationship panned out during the times as pandemic was taking place, and they couldn't meet, they couldn't talk a lot. Each of them were having personal things happening in their family,
Right.
lot of things were happening. So in that sense, it's a very real song, and the idea to bring Sana Arora on the track was to give it a new dimension. And we at Kapow, like, we love to kind of collaborate with other artists, and because they bring their own flavor to it and bring in, like, expand the song in their own style, which was something we were definitely looking for this song.
Fantastic. And what's cooking in the studios of Kapow right now?
Oh, okay. This is amazing. So Always Meant to Be, like, I would say was one track which was not like, the Kapow signature song. So even for our audience, that was a surprise, because they're used to listening to more rock, like, and more energetic songs. This was much more mellower and, like, trying to tell a very different story from our usual songs. So I would say next 3 songs lay down the foundation for our next album. And each of them just really solidifies what Kapow means.
Right.
So we are staying very true to our sound for these 3 songs. And I'm sharing the titles of these songs and like these upcoming tracks very, very liberally these days. So, so one of them is called Scooby-Doo Jackie Chan.
Oh,
so that's
okay.
Yeah, that's our most forward, like, that's our song which is looked most forward by our audience, because we have performed it a couple of times live as well in the last couple of years. So the song, like, Scooby-Doo Jackie Chan is, like, fun. It's just energetic, but under the layers of the lyrics, which I usually like to do, it talks about, like, suicide and how even pandemic, how people deal with mental illnesses and everything.
Right.
But on the surface, it's just a fun song. You won't know what's going on unless, like, you pay attention to the lyrics, and then you'll be like, I need to sit down and think about this.
Right.
After that, like, we're planning a song called Kali Billi.
Okay.
So during the pandemic, interestingly, we released our first Hindi song.
Right.
It was called Sab Sun Liya, and that gained so much love from the audience. Like, it just blew our mind. So we were like, let's not keep a language limitation on ourselves for the future. And then Kali Billi came into picture. So this song is all about superstitions and how
beliefs,
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's a Hindi rock song, like, dealing with those topics, and it's gonna be like, that's my favorite song. It's already recorded and, like, all ready, but we are, like, putting all the efforts we can for the marketing and for making sure it reaches the right audience at the right time. So these are 2 songs that we are really excited. Then there's a 3rd song called Experimenting on Humans.
Okay.
And it's all about, like, how we are dealing with media and its, like, usage, and a lot of people in my circle were also, like, addicted to their Instagrams and stuff. So it kind of takes that idea, adds the Kapow flavor, so makes it, like, over the top, comic-y, and then, like, we're trying to resell it to the audience.
Fantastic. Looking forward to those tracks as well. Mayank, it was absolute fun and pleasure having this chat with you. We'll be playing out your track on air right here in Bengaluru as well as in Goa on Indigo. So have fun and all the best for your future endeavors.
Can I add just one more thing?
Sure, you can.
So for all our audience in Goa, like, we have done a little tour in 2019 for them for 21 days or so. Look forward, because Kapow is coming back to Goa in the month of November and then we'll be staying there till January. So you'll get to see a lot more Kapow there.
Oh, fantastic. That's going to be fun. Kapow is coming to the beach. So that's happening. So guys, you know what to do. Just look up. You can give your Insta handle. It's at Kapow.
It's Kapow time. So whenever someone asks you what time it is, you just say it's Kapow time.
It's Kapow time. That's the Insta handle. So follow them, and they'll keep you updated on when they're coming to Goa. Definitely. Well, yeah, man. Thank you so much once again for connecting, and all the best.
Thank you so much.